Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. We know we've been gone for a while, and we're coming at you with a lot. But we're going to throw some stuff at you and hope that you like it.
Okay, what are we doing today?
Well, we're jumping on the tier ranking bandwagon. Mostly because we have read so many thrillers, and we have compiled lists and lists and lists of thrillers. We were like, you know what? Let's toss all of them into a tier ranking and let's see how we fare. Let's see what ones are the best and what ones are the absolute lowest of the lowest, worst of the worst. So we're going to share our tier ranking with you of all of the thrillers that we've read in the past, few years.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like 45 books on here.
Okay.
Welcome back to our channel. I'm Craig.
I'm David.
We are Shelf-Possessed. We are so glad that you came back. We are a gay couple living in the Midwest, and we love all things books, everything book related. We love all books.
All of them.
Well,
some of them.
Not all of them. Yeah,
As you'll
to
see.
be fair. Yeah. We're going to walk you through our tiers that we created, and to keep it school related, since we do the book report cards and all of that, we kind of went along that route. So our lowest tier, you want to talk about the lowest tier?
Our lowest tier is Expelled. So this was a book that we did not like, we did not enjoy. We finished, but we didn't like it at all.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
The next row up is Detention. So these are books that aren't getting tossed out, but definitely have a timeout, for sure. Like, they could use some work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And our kind of middle of the road, kind of almost mediocre tier ranking is Cafegematorium. My favorite.
If you don't know what that is, I went to school with a Cafegematorium, which was a gym, a cafeteria, and an auditorium all in one.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things happen there. Maybe not a lot of good things, but some things happen there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Our next tier up is Recess. Who doesn't love some Recess? It's not, it's not perfect always, but it's always usually pretty great. Yeah.
Sometimes you play dodgeball and get hit in the face.
And sometimes you meet your future wife.
Recess? What?
I don't know.
You met your future wife?
I did.
Not me.
No, my second wife.
Okay.
You're my first wife.
And our last one is Gold Stars. These are books that we absolutely loved and are getting a gold star. A gold star standard of reading, of books, of all the above.
And if you've seen these type of videos before, you know that like the gold stars rank is our like god tier, like best thrillers that we've ever read, that we love, that we will never ever, that will never ever change for us. Mm-hmm. So yeah. And like I said, there are 45 books on here. There are books that we have both read, and there are books that we have individually read. So there's some that David have read that I haven't, vice versa, some that I've read that he hasn't. So there'll be some times where it's just an opinion of one of us, but sometimes it'll be both. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Should we jump into it? See where we end up?
Okay, so what if we have different opinions of the book?
Then we need a compromise.
Okay.
Which we're learning how to do.
18 years later,
we've learned, or learning how to compromise.
We've learned that we cannot compromise.
We have to. So we'll yeah.
Okay.
We'll just do an average of our opinions and put it, somewhere there.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can see on the screen, we're going to pop the tier ranking thing up on the screen. You can see all of our books. They're all listed here. So we're just going to kind of pull them in one at a time and pop them up there and see where we are. So, all right. So we're just going to go in order the way that this tier ranking thing just put the photos in order. So we'll just pull them up that way. All right. Okay. So the first book is The Push by Ashley Audrain, which you have not read.
No.
Right? So I am going to give The Push, I'm going to put The Push in the Cafegematorium category, mostly because it was fine. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. Wasn't what I expected, but, it's pretty middle of the road in comparison to some of the other ones. So, okay. Next one.
Finley Donovan is killing it.
Mm-hmm. We both read this one.
We did both read it. I personally, I don't think it was a book that completely blew me away, but it was a fun read. So I would maybe give it a recess.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I would put it in recess as well.
I think if it was something that we both liked, we would have purchased the sequel to it.
Yeah, we have it.
So I think if it was a gold star, we would have done that.
Yeah.
The next one is Megan Abbott's You Will Know Me, which I read and absolutely loved. If you've never read any of Megan Abbott's books, I say get on it because, I need to put one of her other books in my TBR. But I would give that a gold star because that was a very, that was a very great thriller. She's just a terrific writer.
I'm excited to read that one.
Real Easy by Marie Kotowski. I would say that, I'm trying to remember, because I read that, when did I read that?
It was like 2 months ago. It wasn't that long ago.
There's some of these books that I'm like, they kind of went in and then they just kind of went out.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really stick around. I think Real Easy was one of those. It was one of my most anticipated reads, but I would maybe put it in the Cafegimatorium. Okay. The Chain, I gave it an A when I reviewed it, so that would probably go in gold star. I think the only thing that makes me uneasy is that it just feels like he wrote it because he wanted it to be a series or a film.
Yeah.
So, and it just reads like that, and I don't necessarily like books like that.
Yeah.
So,
the next one is The One by John Mars, which I read and David has not. And if you heard me talk about it, it's a gold star. Like, it's top tier. It's great. Loved it, loved it, loved it. So, yeah.
All right, the next one is They Never Learn
by Lane Fargo,
which
we both read.
I absolutely loved it.
I loved it too.
Okay, I'm going to give it a gold star.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Okay. I think, well, no, if you haven't read They Never Learn by Lane Fargo, you should read it. It is probably one of the better, like, female serial killer books that I've ever read. Mm-hmm. And I've read a few. Mm-hmm. You should definitely read that one. It's like female Dexter set on a college campus, and there's some twists that I was not expecting in that book. So
you wouldn't give it a gold star?
No, I would.
Okay.
I would. Yeah.
Okay.
The next one is The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, which you did not read?
No.
And I am going to put this in the Expelled one. I think that book is trash. I think that the fact that it's trying to retell the story of the turn of the screw is great, and it's modernizing it in a way, but the way it worked out, I thought it was bad. It was bad. Like, it could go up to detention if I absolutely, like, 100% wanted to, but I don't know. I just think I'm never going to read it again, and I would not recommend it to anyone. So, Expelled. Turn of the Key. You're out of here.
We have a lot of books by this next author.
We do. We have, 3. List. Yeah.
And that is Gillian Flynn's Dark Places.
Which you have not read that one?
It's also set in Kansas, right?
Yes, it is set in Kansas.
I think I read it a long time ago. I don't remember.
But you saw the movie, though, with Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't remember the book? Because I remember the book very well.
I'm trying to. I think so. It has a little bit of In Cold Blood.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So I got a little bit of that, but I'd rather read In Cold Blood.
Yeah.
So I would put it in the Cath.
I would give it a recess because it's fun. It's not like the best book I've ever read, but I think I had fun reading it.
Okay.
So
let's give it a recess.
And the next one is Gillian Flynn's Sharp Objects, which have you read?
I read.
You
that
did read
one.
that one.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read it before the series?
Yes.
Yeah. How did you feel about that?
I think I read that first. I think that was the first book that I read of hers, and then I liked that book, and then I went and read Dark Places. Did not like Dark Places that much, but this one is another one I maybe a 15-minute recess, not a full 30-minute recess.
I was gonna go Cafe Gymnatorium because of the three Gillian Flynn's, it's the least. It's my least favorite one of the three.
Why did you like Dark Places so much?
I think it's the same reason why I liked Gone Girl. It's like the twists and the turns there, and the story goes somewhere I wasn't expecting. Now, Sharp Objects does that, and that especially did it way before the Munchausen's by proxy thing was a thing, but it wasn't as fun for me as the other two. So,
okay, let's put in the calf.
okay. Next one is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead, which I just read.
You liked it a lot more than I did.
I did.
Okay. I think it was okay.
I'd be fine doing the calf or the detention. Like, I liked it well enough. I don't know that I'll ever read it again. But...
Okay, put it in the calf as well.
Okay. The next one is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, which you haven't read.
I have not read. I saw the movie.
Yeah.
I don't.
So you don't get an opinion on the book.
No. I don't. Once I saw the movie, I was like, I can't go back and read the book.
I think actually, I don't think that's true. I think you can. I think you know what the big twist is going to happen is. But I think the book is. I mean, I love the movie, but I think that the book is actually better. I mean, usually it is anyway. I'm putting this in Gold Star. Like, it's one of my favorite thrillers of all time. Okay. So I love the book. That book shocked the crap out of me when I read it, and I just wasn't ready for what I got when I read it. So. And
you read it before you saw the movie?
I did. I read it like 2 years before I saw the movie.
Okay. The next one is Alex Finley's The Night Shift, which another one I was highly anticipated, at least for me anyway, and it left me very disappointed. So I'm going to give it a detention, and he needs to write The Night Shift about 500 times on a blackboard.
I just imagine Alex Finley like writing the title like Bart Simpson.
Because I think I said that in my review. It read like a James Patterson novel, and I went in expecting something, and it did not. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. So the next one, we have all 4 of this author's books on this list, and it's all Riley Sager. So we have Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, which is essentially the haunted house novel, which was that wasn't last summer. That was 2 summers ago, right? Yeah. For me, of all of the Riley Sagers, that is a recess book. Home Before Dark is definitely a recess book for me.
I would say out of all of his that I read, that's the one that I did not like.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to say I didn't like it. I just, out of all of those, that's probably the one that I would never go back to.
Okay.
And I was a little disappointed by the twist. So.
Okay. So you think what? Calf?
Now I'm going to give him a detention because he's been a bad boy. No, I would put him in the calf.
Okay. I can agree. I can handle that, even though I don't agree. The next one you just heard me talk about in our last video, which is The Accomplice by Lisa Lutz. And if I had a category lower than Expelled, that's where I'd put it.
Expelled, truant.
Yeah. Permanently banned from the campus.
Never come back.
Yeah. It was bad. It was just bad all around. So don't read it. I mean, do if you want to, but don't. At the same time.
This is another one that I forgot, but we read this very early on, and I tried to read a second novel of hers, but I just couldn't get into it, and that was Mersha Pessel's Never World Wake, which I absolutely loved.
Yeah, I loved it too.
Told Craig to read it.
And it's a YA thriller, technically.
It doesn't read like it.
It doesn't. It's classified as a YA thriller, but it does not read like a YA thriller. It just happens to be about high school students.
Would you consider it like a sci-fi book?
I mean, I guess you could call it a sci-fi book.
Because there's time travel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could. It's a sci-fi thriller, I guess.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah. So, Gold Stars?
I would reread that again.
I would too. I really like that book a lot. The next one is Bathhouse by P.J. Vernon. Expelled? I would, if we're gonna like label that, if we're gonna shove the 2 books together, Yes Daddy and Bathhouse, Bathhouse was better.
I mean, I just don't. We've commented on both of those books.
Yeah.
Ad nauseum. So I don't want to give it any more attention than it already has.
Okay, we'll expel it.
Okay.
The next one is Mother Maya by Jocelyn Jackson, which you did not read.
No.
And I read. And I actually quite enjoyed it. It wasn't the best book I ever read by any means. I had fun while I was reading it, so I'm going to put it in the recess category. Next one is Verity by Colleen Hoover, which this one made me read. Or not made, he didn't make me read it. He bought it for me, and then I read it. And it was not great. I did not love it. But it was not, like, kick off the campus bad. So I'm going to put it in detention. Like, I don't know. It's not, I think the three that I have in the expelled category are far worse than Verity by Colleen Hoover. So,
okay.
Yeah. The next one is Who is Maud Dixon by Alexandra Andrews, and you did not read this, even though I've asked you several times to read it.
One of these days.
This is like God tier, gold star, one of the best books I've ever read. Love this book. And I've recently seen a few YouTube videos of people who are just finding it, and it came out like a year and a half ago, and they're loving it. I'm like, I've been saying this. Yeah, so I really want you to read that. Okay. The next one is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager.
Okay. I would put this in recess.
I would too. Yeah, I like this one.
I liked that one a lot more than Home Before Dark.
See, then I would switch those two. I liked Home Before Dark much more than I liked Lock Every Door, but I still liked Lock Every Door. Yeah. So, the next one is Beneath the Stairs by Jennifer Fawcett, which I just recently finished last month, and I'm also going to put that in Expelled. I really did not like that book.
The next one is one of my favorites from last year, and that's Catherine Burns's The Visitors, which I absolutely loved.
And I thought was okay. See, we're allowed to have differing opinions.
No,
it's
we're
fine.
Not on The Visitors.
Yeah, it was just fine.
I thought it was a very beautiful, dark book, and it just I was.
It's a solid cafeterimatorium for me. And you think it's a gold star?
Yeah.
So then compromise, let's put it in the recess category.
Okay, it's almost like what you do with students. Sometimes you have favorite students and other teachers think that they're a mess or that they're a problem. But let's just say the visitors will come back and help me grade in the classroom.
So recess is okay with you?
Yeah,
okay.
Where I give them a gold star.
Okay. All right. The next one is Good Is Gone by Amy Gentry.
Oh.
I think we can both agree.
Oh, so good.
Gold star?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, valedictorian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to it when we get to Last Woman Standing, but
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that book.
Yeah.
I really did love that book.
I did too. The next one is Taylor Adams' Hairpin Bridge, which you did not read, and I am going to get it out of here. Bad book.
It's disappointing.
Yeah, because the other book you'll see is by him is not disappointing. So, Silvia Moreno Garcia's Mexican Gothic is next, which I read, but you did not finish.
I didn't finish. I read about 25% of it.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go back because we just got The Hacienda. And I think I want to read it back to back with that book.
That's a good plan.
I think there was just something that I was missing from Mexican Gothic that I don't know.
I will say, because he only read about 25% of it. And that book takes 75% of the book to get to what it's trying to do. And then the reveal happens, and then the switch happens, and like that's where it kind of, I think that's where it starts to make sense. The beginning of it really does a good job of like world building, but it doesn't give you any like twist. It doesn't give you anything to like keep you going until 70% of the way through.
Because I got Velvet is a Night as well, so I want to give her another chance.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I'm gonna put it in recess.
I don't want to grade it, so
yeah, I'm gonna put it in recess. I think it was a solidly good book. I enjoyed it, and the cover, brilliant cover.
Beautiful.
So, next one
is Lucy Foley's The Guest List, Did we review this book?
Oh, this is way we read this way before we started our booktube channel.
Okay.
This was like this is one of the first books that we read during the pandemic because it was the first that was the month we joined Book of the Month Club.
Oh.
And that was the first book we got.
Yeah, I don't remember liking it that much.
You didn't. I liked it more, for sure. But I think in looking at everything else, it's a definitely middle of the road thriller. It's not like, you know, a brilliant thriller by any means. It's an Agatha Christie retread 100% of the way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you comfortable like guest listing Capagematorium in it? Okay. The next one is The Appeal by Janice Hallett, which you haven't read yet. And I really liked, and I'm going to give it a recess. So it's definitely a fun book. Not the best book, but definitely a fun book and worth it if you have the time to read it. So the next one is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, which you loved, right?
I did love that book. I like this very much because it was another one of those books where I was very surprised when the twist happens.
Mm-hmm. That was too.
And when those things happen, it kind of takes it to the next level for me. So, I mean, I would give it a recess.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's a pretty solidly middle of the road thriller for me, but like it was fun to read. I enjoyed it. But the next one is The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Delilah Harris.
I did not read that one.
You didn't, and I did, and I'm going to put that book in detention.
You don't like it?
No. I think the idea behind it is brilliant, and I think the writing is great, but I think the execution of the story, not great. So, yeah. And I actually don't even think that you'd like it that much, if I'm honest. So
that I wouldn't like it?
Yeah, I don't really think I think you'd be frustrated by it too. So, yeah. The next one is Last Woman Standing by Amy Gentry, and if I had to choose between these two, between Good as Gone and Last Woman Standing, I would put Last Woman Standing in a gold star and I'd move Good as Gone down to recess, but I think that they're both brilliant. So
it's one of the loves of my life, really, and it's
gold star then.
Very like you want to talk about 4 stars, like 4 stars across the board. Just
5 stars?
5 stars, whatever.
I was like,
we don't do stars.
Yeah, we don't do that.
But just a lot of the whole roll of gold stars.
Okay, I'm comfortable with.
It's a thriller set in the stand-up comedy world, and it's just I was like I've never read a subject like that before, and it just had me. Those characters are great. Dana is another one with a D.
Yeah.
That I love. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with that. Yeah. I can accept that.
All right.
The next one is The Passengers by John Mars, which you have not read. This is actually giving away a little bit of our May wrap up because I finished that this month. And I'm going to put The Passengers in the Capagematorium, middle of the road. It's not the one for me necessarily, but it was fine and I enjoyed it. I think it's too long, if I'm honest. I think it's a little too long. And there's too many twists at the end, which I've never said in my life. But, you know, yeah. The next one is Fantastic Land by Mike Brockovin, who was a book that was suggested to me. And I read it last month and I liked it a lot. But it's not my favorite thing. It's a good, solidly fun book. I think I'm going to put it in recess. So... I don't think we need to talk about the next one. I think I can just move it up here.
I mean, we're gonna get a lot of shit because of that, but I
don't care. It wasn't good.
I'm like, did we all read the same book?
I don't. Yeah, and I'm still just baffled because I continue to hear people talking about it, and I'm like, do I need to read it again? Did I miss something like completely about this book? Like, I even told you I liked it up until about halfway through, and then I was like, these are like 4 different books in one. I don't understand why people like it. I don't get it. But there's plenty of videos, and if you go backwards in our channel, that we talked all about that book. So yeah, goodbye.
No daddy.
Yeah, no daddy indeed.
Okay.
Yeah, next one.
Cabin at the End of the World. I don't remember liking this.
You didn't like it because of the ending. You liked it up until the ending, which is similarly to how I felt.
I would give it a detention.
I would too. I would. I would probably put it in the Cappuccinatorium just because I think it's a fine book, and I like that it is about a gay couple. But I think the end is what kind of like sawed it off for me. I don't know. It was just not as good.
It was like it took so much work.
Quit chewing your coconut water. It's so gross.
Cabin at the Cabin at the End of the World. It takes a lot of investment,
Mm-hmm.
but once you get through it, and then that ending comes, and you're like, was this a waste of my time?
Yeah.
And you kind of go back and forth with it. Some people love this book. I did not.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine putting it there. So, the next one is Jessica Knoll's Luckiest Girl Alive, which I did not think I was gonna like. I'm not saying this is a derogatory term by any means, but when I first saw that book and everyone defines it as like a chick lit thriller, which I hate that. I hate that, because I think that it's I don't know what that associates with is not. I don't know. It's not fair to that book. I don't think necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that book is actually trying to say something a little bit more than what you would define as a chick lit thriller normally. And I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I would put it in recess if it was me. But you didn't like it as much as I did.
Yeah. I mean, I would put it in the Cappuccinatorium.
That's fine. I can compromise. See, I can do it.
I can't.
The next one is one that David did not read, but it is Lisa Jewell's The Family Upstairs, and I'm going to solidly put that in recess. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I actually think that he would quite enjoy it a lot too. So, yeah.
All right, the next one is Riley Sager's Survive the Night, which I think out of all of his books out so far, this was one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people like this book.
I like this book a lot.
But I really, really like this book.
It's not my favorite of his by any means, but I liked it quite a bit.
And I think if you're a film lover and you're like a film person who loves film, I mean, you kind of get a little bit more than the average person who doesn't really kind of follow films or film history.
Also, we're both
loved.
we're both 90s kids, and so the 90s thing was I think like a big deal too. So, recess, Gold Stars. Where do you want to put it?
I would put it in Gold Star.
Okay, I can get behind that. The next one is No Exit by Taylor Adams.
Which is really disappointing because Hairpin Bridge fell flat.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
100%.
I really, really loved No Exit.
As did I. Yeah.
And I really, really liked the film. The Hulu
Yeah, the film was better than I thought it was going to be, for sure. Yeah. So you think Gold Stars or Recess?
I would put it in Recess.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Okay.
Okay.
Our second to last Riley Sager, Final Girls by Riley Sager. For me, this is my favorite Riley Sager book.
Really?
Yeah. Cause see, my like order is like Final Girls, Home Before Dark, Lock Every Door, Survive the Night, and then The Last Time I Lied. But again, we're compromising. So
I don't.
I would put it in Gold Stars, but
I.
Where would you put it?
The Cappuccinatorium.
So we can compromise on Recess.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're down to our last 5. The next one is Mrs. March by Virginia Fito, which I read a couple of months ago or early last year. And I think I'm gonna put this in like the tension. The concept, very cool. The writing is great, but like, I don't know, the structure of it, there's just something about it I just didn't love overall. And I don't even really remember too much about it, weirdly. So, yeah. The next one is Blood Sugar by Sasha Rothschild, which I just finished today and is on my May TBR. And this is, again, going to give some stuff away, but goodbye, Blood Sugar. You're terrible. Sorry, I just didn't like it at all.
I love that title though.
The title is good, and the title is very relevant to the story, but the story just doesn't. The fact that you have the premise on the cover of like that she's guilty of. Well, she's suspected of 4 murders, but she's only guilty of 3. You're like, awesome, female serial killer. But then the book is just so like, meh, you know. Yeah.
Okay, our next one is Karen Slaughter's Pretty Girls.
Gold Star.
Sure. I think that was the first Karen Slaughter that I read.
Me too. Yeah, I love that book.
But we also have not revisited Karen Slaughter.
We have not. Well, you have. Didn't you read that the good daughter?
No. It was Pieces of Her.
Pieces of Her.
And I stopped halfway through.
Oh, because you didn't like it.
No.
Yeah. That Karen right now, Pretty Girls is the only Karen Slaughter that I've read. The reason I think is because she writes books like Pretty Girls, but she also writes like detective novels, and they get like I can't sometimes figure out which ones are which, and so I'm always afraid that I'm gonna pick up one that's like a detective one, and I don't want that. So yeah.
She has a new one coming out too.
Yeah, which is I think a detective novel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
never mind.
Yeah. The next one is our last Riley Sager, which is The Last Time I Lied, which you have not read.
Nope.
Yep, and it is my least favorite. I still liked it, but I'm gonna put it in detention, just so we have some variety there. And it's I think you would like it. His writing style and his use of language is strong, but I think overall that book isn't the best of his 4 that he's written. 5 that he's written. Yeah. And the last one is 9 Lives of Peter Swanson, and I'm also going to put that one in detention. It's not terrible, but not the worst, right? So, yeah. That is 45 thrillers that we have read essentially over the last 3 or 4 years.
I feel like we read more.
I'm sure we have. We
should probably do a part 2.
Yeah. I'm happy to see that we have more in our top 2 categories than our bottom 3, for sure. Our both Gold Stars and Recess are more full than I thought they would be. And then our bottom 2 categories have less, which is good. Means we like more than we don't.
We have good taste.
We do. Well, for us, yes. Other people might disagree, you know. I'm really happy with this ranking so far. If you had to pick of all the gold stars that are there, what is your top gold star?
Last Woman Standing. What about for you?
Who is Maud Dixon? 100%. Yeah,
of course.
I'm sorry. I will sing the damn praises of that book until people start fucking listening, because it's just so good, and it's kind of ridiculous, but it's good. Like, I don't know. I thought that book was going to be something very different when I started it, and then it turns into something else. So,
how about the ones that have been expelled? Who would you kind of let back in with a second chance?
Of those, I mean, to be completely fair to Ruth Ware, that's the only Ruth Ware book that I've ever read. And I probably should read more. But if I'm going to choose any of them, I'm probably going to choose Beneath the Stairs, because Jennifer Fawcett is a debut author. It's her first book. I think the writing was actually great, but the story itself, I think, is really bad. So I might give Jennifer Fawcett another chance. And I should honestly probably read another Ruth Ware. So what about you? Well, because you've only read 1, 2, 3 of those books that are in that Expelled list.
I've only read 2.
You read Bathhouse. You read Yes, Daddy.
Yeah.
Oh, and only 2. Okay. Yeah.
It's just those 2.
Yeah. You're not gonna let either of those back.
No.
Well, what about the detention list? Is there anyone that you would either move down or move up?
I would probably do. Well, I would have. I mean, I would try The Last Time I Lied.
I think you should, just to be a completist.
Looking at all of them, or Verity too.
You're going to read Verity.
I'm going to.
Because you have to.
So, The Last Time I Lied, I would probably. That's when I would jump to.
Well, that's our 45 thriller tier ranking of all the thrillers we've ever read. We hope that you enjoyed that. And my hope is by the end of the summer, we can add some more to this. And maybe even...
There's a few good ones that are coming out.
Yeah, we have, you know, the new Riley sticker comes out next month. So that's exciting. Yeah, this is also a great prep because our year 1 anniversary of BookTube is coming up very shortly. And maybe we'll do this again for every book we've read in the last year.
I don't remember.
Well, we're going to have to go through.
There's probably about maybe 5 that I remember fondly.
This is why you need to start tracking. So, well, thank you for coming back. Thank you for coming back to our channel. If you haven't, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with someone. We would really, really appreciate it. We're so happy that there's so many new people here too. Welcome to our channel. Thank you for coming. We hope that you're enjoying what we're producing so far. Comment down below. What did you think of our ranking? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Would you move any of these books to a different category? Yeah, I'd be curious to see what you think. So, we're Self-Possessed. I'm Craig.
And I'm Nancy Downs.
That tracks for you, actually.
No, I'm David.
Yeah. Check us out on Instagram.
At shelf_possessed.
And join us next time for a brand new video, and we'll see you very soon. Got some coconut water pulp.
Crunchy.
I
was gonna say something nasty.
Thank God you didn't say it.